Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and as you could tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are once again talking about Darklords, but this time, Darklord Shaddoll. So, why does this deck work? Well, first and foremost, Darklords do not require the extra deck all that much. They basically need about 5 slots in the extra deck, and everything else is basically open. So, I mean, realistically, they only need like 4 slots. You could play 2 of the First Darklord and 2 Condemned. Even 1 First Darklord is enough. So there's that. But the reason we are playing Shaddoll is because they are very extra deck focused, as well as they allow for fusions. And fusions are very good in with Darklords, because you can even fusion summon with their own Uprising. So there you go. Let's quickly do the card by card. We have Darklord Ukoback, one of it, triple Indulged Darklord, the double Nasten, the one Tez, the triple Ixchel, the one Morningstar, the triple Banishment, and the triple Contact, as well as one each of all of the Darklords. This is a pretty standard list for at least what I would build into any Darklord list. The triple Indulged is very important. Having 2 Nasten is very nice because you can special summon it off of Morningstar. It's got a really nice attack and defense stat at 2600, which is very good. The triple Ixchel, drawing cards, is really nice. Contact is one of the most important cards in the deck list, along with Banishment, and then just you only really need one of each of the traps, because most of the time you can just recycle them. You can search them out or recycle them, or you get 2 effects out of them, which is generally enough to stop a turn or what have you. So there's that. Moving on to the Shaddolls, we have Shaddoll Hedgehog, Wendi, Ariel, and Beast. We're only playing 4 main deck monsters, and the reason for that is because these have the best effects when they are sent to the graveyard. So we're also playing the 3 Shaddoll Fusion as well. The main deck monsters' effects are when it is sent from the field to the graveyard, add a monster, special summon a monster, in a Shaddoll monster in face down defense position, banish 3 cards from any graveyard, and draw a card, respectively. So really, really solid effects. Just allows you to gain a little bit more advantage or potentially interrupt your opponent. Very nice. Shaddoll Fusion, if you don't know what this does, you basically fusion summon from your deck, or by sending materials from your deck if your opponent has an extra deck monster on the field. Really nice. You just fusion summon any of your Shaddoll Fusion monsters. Also, your Shaddoll Fusion monsters are very powerful, so it is very nice to do. You can also special summon it from your hand or field as well, which does come up from time to time. If you say go first and you have the necessary materials to make, say, a Winda, it's very, very good. And it's one of the best turn ones if you're able to pop off with your Darklords, as well as have the necessary materials for a Shaddoll Fusion. Moving on to the rest of the cards, we have the Psyframe Gamma. I actually just put this in, so in a lot of the replays you won't see it, but the reason that I'm playing this is because it is a light target while still being a hand trap, and so you can send it for a Shaddoll Construct. So yeah, you will never see Shaddoll Construct in any of the replays. That was a mistake from me. I was playing instead Allure of Darkness, which just doesn't work in this deck. You're not playing enough Darks. Then we have Maxx C and Ash Blossom, as well as Imperm. Pretty self-explanatory there. Moving on to the extra deck, we have the 2 Shaddoll Winda. This says your opponent can only special summon once, or anyone can only special summon once per turn, and it can't be destroyed by an opponent's card effects. Really, really solid. We have the 1 Apkalone. This is mostly for corner cases, but also you can just banish it off of Prosperity. Oh, I forgot to mention, triple Prosperity. This card's really good. The only times you will be drawing cards is off of Ixchel, which can matter from time to time, but it's also just nice to, draw a Shaddoll Fusion or Banishment or whatever else you may need, right? So very nice. Also, you can banish a whole bunch of cards from your extra deck and not really need them. So yeah, moving back to the extra deck, we have Shaddoll Construct. Construct allows you to send a Shaddoll card from your deck to your graveyard. It allows you to destroy special summoned monsters during battle, and it allows you to add back a Shaddoll spell or trap when it's sent to the graveyard. So, all really solid effects. probably the best Shaddoll monster in the lineup. We have the water monster, El Shaddoll, and this one. I never summon this. Shekinaga comes up occasionally. It's very nice if you have a Shaddoll heavy lineup or you have multiple Shaddoll fusions in your hand. You can summon it using Maxx C, and then you can just negate a special summoned monster's effect. Very solid. Obviously, the First Darklord, you could run more of this. It's not really that necessary. Triple Condemned. Again, you could cut this down and put in other cards. I would say probably 2 First and 2 Condemned is ideal. And then we have Geonator Transverser, Gaia Saber, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of the Sky, Soldier of Chaos, and Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. These 2 are more or less just Pot of Prosperity targets. You kind of just banish them. They're not really that important. And yeah, this one is really, really nice to have, as well as this one. So there you go. That's basically it, so let's move on into the replays. Now, before we get into these duels, I just wanted to say that did you know almost 80%, over 80% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed? That's all. Alright, so here we are in our first matchup, and I believe we get to go first here, which is pretty nice. We ended up drawing a Banishment as well as Ixchel, so that's pretty nice. We're going to Ixchel for 2, we're going to draw another Banishment, pretty sick. We're going to go for Nasten here, and the reason for this is because we have 2 other Darklords in our hand, so we can just special summon out the Nasten here, and then search for our Contact. Then we can Contact, we will contact the Ixchel. Ixchel effect will then activate and copy the Contact, bring out the Indulged effect, special summon out that Ukoback onto the opponent's side of the field, grabbing up Tez. We're then going to link into our Condemned. The reason I go with Nasten instead of Ixchel, higher defense for the Ixchel. That's basically it. Condemned's effect, search out the Morningstar, summon out the Morningstar by banishing 2, go for the Morningstar's effect to special summon out the Indulged. The reason I go for Indulged is because we've special summoned all of the other Darklord monsters except Tez, and we need the Tez in hand, so I have to just go for Indulged here. We're just going to activate Morningstar and then activate the Condemned. We have a whole bunch of searches, all of our searches are in the grave, but nothing else really. We do have Imperm here, so I kind of just go for Imperm here. I'm like, I don't really want Ferris to activate, seeing as how it is heroes. However, they are going to still be able to get their Shadow Mist in order to search out a card. So, kind of problematic. They're going to search for their Blazeman. Blazeman, when it is normal summoned, allows them to search out their Polymerization. So they don't even have to go for a Vion here, they can go for Blazeman. And then they activate Polymerization in the Imperm column like a fool. Doesn't really end up mattering. Actually, it does. That entirely screws them over, and at this point, it is just a hop, skip, and a jump, as MBT would say, to lethal. So here we go. During the end phase, we are going to search out a Contact for follow-up. Shuffle that back into the deck. Our turn. At this point, it's just assembling lethal. We actually draw the Shaddoll Fusion, which means before we even go to battle, we can also Fusion Summon and go for it like a Winda to really lock them out of this game. We're going to search out the Uprising here because, yeah, I could mill it off of Morningstar, but there's not a guarantee of that. With this, I can guarantee that Condemned sends it to the grave with the Uprising. So we are going to go and search a Nasten. Then we are going to now activate in order to summon out the Winda. Now I end up sending a Wendi here, which normally would special summon a Shaddoll monster. I don't choose to activate that at this time because that would prevent me from fusion summoning with our Uprising. So I'm just going to let that go. We're going to search out the Hedgehog here. We're going to activate in order to, or not activate, sorry. We are just going to tribute summon our Tez that was in hand. I'm like, I really need to get as much damage on board as I can. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to attack over the Ukoback. We are going to attack over the extra hero. They're going to activate the effect in order to special summon Vion. Vion effect in order to send a card. We are then going to attack over the Vion. We are then going to once again attack over the attack with Winda, activate Tez's effect, go for 3, and I don't need to use Morningstar here, so we're just going to go for the First Darklord, and then attack in for lethal. Pretty simple. As you can see, searching out that Darklord Uprising is insanely powerful for the OTK. Alright, so here we are once again going first, and we drew a pretty killer hand. So we're going to Ixchel, send the Indulged. The biggest problem here is that we drew the Ukoback, which is pretty problematic, but it doesn't really end up mattering. We're going to banish the second Indulged here. Bring back the Ixchel. Ixchel effect, copy the Contact. Contact will bring back the Indulged. Indulged effect, we're going to have to special summon the Ukoback from hand, which is not ideal, but we still get the Tez to hand. We're going to then search, as I said. Uprising, searching it, really solid if you are able to go into Condemned. Condemned is then going to pitch the Darklord Uprising in order to add the Morningstar. We're then going to tribute for the Morningstar by banishing 2. We're going to tribute and then special summon a Nasten, and then we are going to mill 3 cards. Well, we didn't end up milling anything too great. I think the Sanctified is nice, but it's fine. We're going to search out our Darklord Rebellion and then end the turn. Condemned Darklord is going to boost our life points to 9,000, and we have an Ash Blossom and a Rebellion and a Sanctified. So we're going to Ash Blossom this Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion is incredibly scary because they can get something like a Construct or what have you, so very scary. They're then going to go for the Invoker. Problematic. Once again, I'm going to negate this, hoping that they don't have the Invocation. Of course they do, because they're invoked, but that is definitely one of the best things to negate. As you can tell, they obviously have the Invocation. However, they go for Construct here, using cards from the hand, because they couldn't use the, they couldn't use the cards on the field. I don't know why they chose to do this, but they do. So they're going to send a whole bunch of cards and add a whole bunch of cards here. So Hedgehog will add a Squamata, and then Shaddoll Construct will send. They're going to send the Dragon in order to pop the Rebellion. I'm just going to chain the Rebellion here and send the Condemned in order to pop the Construct. Construct is very scary. It just can destroy a card during the battle phase, and I really don't want that to happen. I don't want to have to waste my Tez on that. So they're going to add back that Shaddoll Fusion. That is a little bit scary if in following turns, you know, they're able to activate it. But as you can see, we don't have any fusion or any monsters from the extra deck, but they do have Nadir Servant. Now, let me remind you what their hand was. Their hand was Shaddoll Fusion, Invoker, Nadir Servant, and Invocation. And then 2 Shaddoll monsters, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, sorry. It was Ecclesia and Hedgehog. That hand is absolutely insane, and we're still going to beat it. So here they go. They search out their Ecclesia. I'm like, that's fine. They're going to also send their Apkalone in order to grab up an El Shaddoll Fusion. This is a really weird inclusion into this deck, but I mean, it works. It allows them to fusion summon during the opponent's turn. I would have expected Schism here. Schism allows them to use a lot of these and then, you know, potentially go into a Winda and then send a monster away. But, yeah, I guess they didn't. We draw Prosperity for a turn, which is really nice. We're going to activate Morningstar here. They're going to go for El Shaddoll Fusion. That's fine. They're going to go into, I believe, a Winda here. Yeah, they go for Winda here. And they are also going to activate Squamata's effect, which allows them to send another Shaddoll card from the deck to the grave. They're going to banish or send this Ariel, which is really problematic because that means that now we have to activate the Nasten's effect to copy the Uprising in order to actually go into our fusion monster here. It's not ideal, but again, you kind of have to do it, otherwise our Uprising, our one and only Uprising, gets banished. So we are going to go into the First Darklord here. We are going to destroy this Alistair, and then we are going to proceed and walk into the Winda. Oh, sorry. Prosperity first. We're going to see what we can grab off the top. We go for 6 here because I'm like, I really do need to find something. As you can see, we see like Shaddoll Fusions and Contact and stuff like that. Obviously going to grab the Contact. I'm going to set the Wendi here. I don't think there's really a better option. We already have Morningstar in the grave, so I'm not going to be normal summoning that. But we are going to go for Contact back to Nasten, and since Nasten's effects is already activated, we aren't going to be able to activate anything else. I probably should have gone for the Tez. That would have been much smarter, because then I could have Tez'd, and then Contact back the Nasten, and then I would have had 2 card effects that I could have activated. Granted, I don't have 2 cards to copy from, but at least having those 2 monsters would have been really nice. So I am going to summon it back the Tez here, and yeah, at this point, don't really need to do anything. Although I can activate the First Darklord here, so I'm going to chain the First Darklord to this Shaddoll Fusion. Doesn't really matter what they bring out, I'm not too worried about it. And the reason I chain this here is because if they do end up bringing a Winda out, I'd still be able to special summon. Not that I would probably be able to, but just in case I needed to. So they're going to go for 2 and go for an Shaddoll Construct here. And here is where things actually end. They're going to activate Shaddoll Construct, and then they are going to chain Shaddoll Genus, or Genius. This card, what it says is you can target an effect monster on the field. Neither player can activate that card or that target's effect on the field this turn. However, notably, it says target. Target effect monster. Guess what I am protected from? Targeting. All fairy type monsters you control cannot be targeted by the opponent's cards. So the only thing that they would have been able to negate is their own monster, and at that point, it's game over. Even if I had lost that First Darklord as well, I can still contact it back, which is kind of funny, but I also was going to just pop their monster if they ended up doing anything. But yeah, they tried to outsmart me, and they didn't read this line of text here. It's kind of hard to read, so I'm not surprised, but yeah, there you go. Can't be targeted. Just no. So real quick, one thing I wanted to note about this game is this is played, the other ones were played before the rank reset. This one was played right after the rank reset. So I'm technically in Gold 5, but it's basically all Platinum players in Gold at this point. So there's that. However, we are going to see that they are playing Thunder Dragons. And I am not going to lie, this is not a good hand. It's okay, but it's not good. It's not like a great hand. It kind of relies heavily on setting these 2 traps and potentially drawing something off of Ixchel. But yeah, they're going to kind of pop off. They're going to go for this Nemesis Corridor in order to go for the Colossus. Colossus is a problem. It's not terribly problematic. I can deal with it pretty effectively, and you will see in a second. I drew the Shaddoll Fusion, which is really, really solid. They're going to Ash Blossom our Ixchel, which is actually great for us. Seeing as how we drew the Shaddoll Fusion, them negating Ixchel is fantastic, because now we can just go Shaddoll Fusion. They're going to Maxx C. I'm like, I don't really care too much about the Maxx C, but it's fine. Let them draw a card, because I am now going to be able to out the Thunder Dragon Colossus. So I'm going to go for Construct here, sending Beast and Psyframe Driver, which I previously mentioned that you weren't going to see this, but hey, look, it popped up. Shaddoll Beast is going to then draw a card, and then Shaddoll Construct is going to send another monster. So we are going to send the Ariel, and we are going to draw a card, and we draw Banishment, which is really nice. Ariel is then going to banish all of the Thunder monsters from the grave, preventing the protection of the Thunder Dragon Colossus. So we're going to pop the Colossus, and then in main phase 2, after setting these cards in main phase 1, because I'm a fool, we are going to then search out with Banishment. Banishment is going to search Contact. Contact is going to bring back Ixchel. The reason I do this, even under Maxx C, is because we have two trap card effects that I really, really want to actually be activatable. And right now, we don't have 2 targets for those. So instead, I'm going to just do it under Maxx C, and yeah. So we bring out the Ixchel. Ixchel's effect is going to search the Tez, and we have a pretty decent lineup here. They're going to go for Nemesis Corridor, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. However, I'm going to chain to the summon here, and I'm going to activate the Fusion. Now, realistically, this was a terrible play from me. Because of the way that Winda, Shaddoll Winda, is worded, they still get 1 more special summon this turn. What I should have done is activated it in response to the effect of this card to special summon itself. That way, that 1 special summon would have been it. However, you will see that it doesn't really matter too much. They Maxx C me again, so it's like, okay, whatever. But we are going to use Construct and our Ixchel in hand in order to go into Winda. We're then going to activate the Construct's effect in order to grab back the Fusion, which is really nice. They're going to go for Thunder Dragon here a whole bunch of times. We're going to speed this up. Then they go for Roar. Roar is going to add back the Thunder Dragon as well. Then they are going to go for Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. This actually doesn't matter. They're going to pop my 2 back row, and I'm just going to go, okay, sure. They don't have a real good way of dealing with Winda. It would have been better had they just not activated the effect and attacked into the Winda. That probably would have been smarter to at least deal with it and then proceed to play. However, doesn't end up mattering. We are going to pop the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, and then we are going to normal summon the Indulged we drew for turn, and then give them the Ukoback and proceed to battle. We're going to attack over everything pretty safely, and then just end the turn. We still have the Shaddoll Fusion, as well as we have at least one form of interruption in the effect negation with our Ixchel. We could also special summon with Contact if we need to. But here they go for Thunder Dragon Fusion, which allows them to go into Titan. This guy is incredibly scary, and they're going to activate the Thunder Dragon. And here I make a mistake. I didn't realize that I could actually chain to the effect of the Thunder Dragon Titan. I thought that I would have to chain to the effect of the Thunder Dragon here, and so I end up making a huge mistake. Doesn't end up mattering all that much, but I do make another mistake. They have another way to activate the effect of the Thunder Dragon Titan with the Thunder Dragon Matrix. So they're going to chain that and then chain the Thunder Dragon Titan, which is going to try and pop a card. We're just going to Tez that, it's fine. And then we are going to negate the effects of the Thunder Dragon Titan. And now here, I think his best option is to attack the Winda to allow him to special summon more, right? However, I think what he's thinking is he wants to prevent me from also special summoning, not realizing that I have obviously an out to my own Winda, and you will see that in a second. So first and foremost, I'm going to go for the Banishment to search out a Contact. And then, I'm going to link summon into Geonator Transverser. Normally, you banish this off of a Pot of Prosperity, but here it actually comes up splendidly. It allows me to get my Winda off of the field and allow myself to really play. So at this point, I can go into an Ixchel, special summon that, and then special summon a Tez. Tez is then going to special summon Indulged, because I had two Contacts in the grave, so I was able to do that. We're going to give my opponent a Nasten and search out Morningstar. We are then going to go into our Condemned Darklord. Condemned Darklord is going to pitch the Ixchel in order to add Nasten. This is the only card that we could have. We are then going to banish 2 in order to go for Morningstar, and here we can go and special summon out 2 Indulged. And if you know how my deck works, we go for Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This card's really, really solid. It got rid of this guy, which has destruction protection, and it just deals with it really efficiently. It's also a massive body with 3,200 attack, 3,200 defense, which was boosted up to 3,700 attack. And yeah, we can just efficiently deal with that. And then we're going to mill a bunch of cards, and he surrenders. At that point, it was just kind of assembling lethal, which we probably could have done pretty efficiently. Anyway, yeah, that's it. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. And we're back with the deck. First and foremost, is this deck better than something like Pure Darklord or Darklord Eldritch? Well, in the tier list, I think Darklord Eldritch is at the top. I think it's really solid. Eldritch really does kind of almost carry the deck, but still being able to OTK really effectively with the Darklord side is very strong. In second place, we have this list. Being able to just floodgate your opponent out with things like Winda, as well as just having that consistency booster with consistency booster with things like Construct and Shekinaga to kind of add more pressure to the opponent than just your Darklord stuff is really solid. Then in last place, I would put Pure Darklords. Pure Darklords kind of rely very heavily on opening really strong hands, things like Ixchel and your Indulged or your Capricious, and a Banishment / Contact. It really does rely on a 3-card combo, and most of these other decks don't. They don't rely on a 3-card combo. You can normally get away with having 1 or 2 cards and still make it work. Also, you're able to play more traps and or hand traps in this variant, whereas in Pure Darklords, it feels like you don't really have that much space without sacrificing a good end board. So, there you go. All in all, I really like this deck. I think it's good. I think I finally figured out something that will actually work. Prosperity is probably the most cuttable of all of the cards. I was playing Allure of Darkness, but the reason I stopped is because I only actually have 13 dark monsters, and it feels like most of the time I don't want to actually be banishing any of my monsters. The best cards to banish would be a lot of the Shaddoll stuff, because I could potentially get them back with Ariel. But most of the time, I really, really don't want to banish something like a Nasten or a Tez, or most definitely not a Morningstar. So it felt really bad to actually play. Like, drawing 2 is nice, but what if those 2 draws don't actually do enough, right? It's like, yeah, if you draw into a Banishment, it could just send itself to the grave because you didn't draw anything else, right? So, there's that. As for the extra deck, as you saw, Geonator Transverser does come up. But as for this card and this card, these are the 2 that could probably be cut. The Water El Shaddoll and then the Gaia Saber. You could play things like Boral Sword or Access Code, or, well, yeah, you could play Access Code. In fact, you know what? I'll do that. Access Code. Nope, just the one. You can play Access Code, but it kind of requires you to already have had at least more than just Condemned, kind of. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot that could be improved. With that being said, I do like having a lot of hand traps. It's very nice to be playing Maxx C as well as the Ash Blossom. Other cards that you could add is Called by the Grave to increase your efficiency going first. You could take out, for example, some of the Ash Blossoms, or you could take out like the Pot of Prosperities, as I've mentioned. So yeah, you could also take out Imperm. There's the deck. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. This deck is really fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's not better than Eldritch, but it's more fun to play at the very least. So yeah, there you go. Hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.